This is Hardy Brute, with another run of Noobs are coming. Last time we played the Skull, who really only gets lifesteal and a bit of HP, but we went golden hammers and made a ton of cash. We unlocked a ton of bosses. Arachna starts with 8 weapon slots. Bigfoot is all about the kickables, and gets a buff when he kicks. He seems like the most fun, he seems awesome. The Minotaur gains speed and damage from that speed, but you can't stand still. Yokai gets extra cash, cheaper rerolls and prices, but all the weapons are destroyed at the end of each round. We also unlocked a long neck on our own for getting 30 amount, and it gives you extra damage and extra neck length. Ooh. Today I think I'm going to play with Bigfoot, because he seems awesome. He's got a bunch of different kickables to choose from. The chain ball can actually hit the other kickables, but its range is pretty small, and it's more like a ball and chain. The skull ball does less damage, but scales off of amount better. And the spike ball is bigger, slower, and it hits harder, so I think we're going to play with that one. Yeah, so all of our weapons scale off of strength. The spike ball requires 6 amount in order to double it, whereas the skulls only require 4. And we have a built-in +6 just to kickables with this character. The skulls were a lot smaller, and they traveled a lot less further. So I tried it both ways, but I enjoyed these spike balls quite a bit more. But I'd like to fill the entire field with balls if I can. So these are all pretty bad. I would like a mount or strength. Maybe HP. HP is never a bad thing. And I don't think I'm going to play with the chain ball either. It can kick the other kickables, but they added an item in the update that does the same thing. Makes your kickables kick the other kickables. So that's what we're looking for if it's in the game, unless we have to unlock it. We found a spike ball, locked down the skull blade, and because we got 2 balls, we got an extra 10% speed. When we get a 3rd ball, we'll get 10% damage, and a 4th will give us another 10% speed, which will be a huge help to chase down all these kickables. But we're kind of playing our own game. We're putting that big foot to work, and we're playing football or soccer. And every single time we kick, we actually get a buff as well for 2 seconds. 25% speed and 20% armor. But I don't imagine that stacks more than 1 time. So we can gain strength and damage but lose amount. That's kind of bad. But I don't know how high we're going to get the amount anyways, so I think we'll just take the damage for now. And get the XP 8%. Can buy the skull ball. And so now we got 3 balls. And 10% more damage. We can get 6% more damage but lose life. That's kind of risky early on. More life and less cooldown. I don't think we have a cooldown, so that's just a benefit. And it looks like we get to keep the ×2 amount for these spike balls, which requires 6, even though we're at a -1. So that is pretty cool. And so any kickable we pick will always be 2, and that is very nice. But I have a question. So if the game is called football because you primarily use your feet, why is the goalie allowed to use his hands? Why can't we just give each team 2 goalies that can only use their feet? And make the net 50% bigger. That would be fun to watch. And so let's grab the 7% damage. Grab the spike ball. I would like the chest, but we don't have the money, and it's probably not worth locking down. Potions give us a buff. That is okay, but I'm looking for 2 more weapons first. And I don't think it's going to be the chain ball. Or the wrecking ball, because it doesn't scale off of amount at all. But I will like the HP for cooldown, because I don't think we use cooldown. And look at our balls now. We can just run from ball to ball, kicking around these spikes. We don't quite one-shot, but we've got enough balls that we can double tap. And these spikes themselves actually scale pretty good with the strength. A high base damage of 20, and scales with a 120% strength. And that's just the common basic one. So I'm sure the upgrade's going to scale even higher. But we've got some pretty good wave clear now. So we can get more HP regen. Less HP, I don't really want that. This is our level 5, so these should all be uncommon. So I'd like strength, damage, maybe amount, and 7% damage, that's really good. Because we have really high base damage. And add in +2 strength as well. So now we're doing a lot more damage. We're still looking for 2 more weapons, but range doesn't help us. And making the room bigger also hurts us. I'd like to make the room smaller if I could. And not the chain ball. It scales worse, only 100% strength, and its base damage is only 10. So we got a little bit more XP. I would like the 7% item price, but we're already out of cash. So we're not necessarily a rich build, but we are a fun build. And going on to Wave 6 next, that's where we'll make a lot of cash, hopefully. Wave 5 is also pretty good. But if they chase us around, group up, our balls can smack a bunch of them at the same time. Our single target is pretty bad though. We can't kill that elite all that easily, but we're slowly whittling him down. We're also playing on difficulty 4 for the first time, so I do believe the enemies have a lot more HP, but I don't think they do more damage. We can see how it affects the boss though, so I definitely don't want to make the room bigger, because our balls are going to bounce less. Taking damage gives us a buff, it's also unique, so might as well. And got a blue size. Size does affect our balls, so we're going to get some big balls. Let's get the amount as well, fix it from the negative. The spiked is up to 37, and the skull ball is up to 28. We should also easily get another +6 amount from a limited and unique +4 and +2 amount items. So it's a good thing we made it positive again. Found a green spiked ball. 45 damage, 25 base, scaling at 140%. That is very good. So let's get some more XP as well, because a lot of the stats we need, amount, strength, can easily be gotten from level ups. Might as well luck the skull ball, but I might transition to complete spike balls eventually. Because even though these skulls scale better off of amount, and give a higher quantity, we're all about quality balls around here. Also, when they invented American football, do you think the guy thought there'd be a big emphasis on the kicking? You even start the game off with a kickoff, or when you score, but now it's mainly about the extra points, or punting the ball away, when you just don't have a chance. So I imagine that guy was devastated. He wanted a game that would revolve around kicking balls, but he was not going to play that soccer. Or that European football. And he was so angry he had to steal the name too. And so let's get the extra size. It's gonna make our balls even bigger. Got another spec ball and a skull ball. So we got 3 greens now. So let's just buy the XP as well. The skull's up to 37, 20 base, 120% scaling. So the green skull is as good as the white spiked. And our green spiked is already up to 45 damage. So if you ever get a purple spiked, it would be equal to a red or legendary skull, if they were in the game. Yeah, but look how big our balls are now. They're almost as big as we are, if that's possible. These skull balls really aren't that much bigger though. But these spikes cover a lot of area. And they go flying. And they also make a much more satisfying noise when they hit the wall and bounce around. Because it's that metallic twang. Another unique aspect of these spiked balls is there's a couple items in the game that add 10 to 20% damage to spikes, and they will scale off that damage, whereas these skulls don't have spikes and don't fit into that special secret category, and there's more ways to scale these spiked balls. So let's just grab the XP. It's going to give us more levels, and more amount chances at least. Although the blue amount would have been nice as well. We got a blue spiked ball. 54 damage, 30 base, 160% scaling. So now all of our balls are at least green, and that's perfect. Let's get the speed as well. +1 amount with cooldown. Cooldown doesn't hurt us. Got another white spiked ball. Does 37 damage just on its own. So let's combine these skulls, because I'm not sure those are going to stay. And now we got 5 spikes. And we're out of cash. We got full traits going on. So we got damage, duration, and then damage for spikes. Speed and speed. And then an extra 10% damage, just because they're all kickables. But just like cooldown, I don't think duration does anything for us. We've got a ton of speed now. And I don't think it does, but it kind of feels like it's affecting the kick speed. How fast the balls travel, and how far they go. Because that'd be an interesting, fun hidden mechanic if that was true. And personally, I would like it if the buff that we get would be stackable. It shouldn't last nearly as long, maybe like a half a second, but you could make it a unique or legendary item. Because the potion boss does a similar mechanic as well. He gets a buff every time he drinks a potion. So it would reward you for having increased potions, having a large amount, and having balls just everywhere. It would be a ton of fun, slowly building up speed from kick to kick to kick throughout the wave, until you're just flying across the board at the end. I would love that mechanic. So extra damage for no downside. When you dodge, you do damage. It's also unique. Might as well just take it to get rid of it. A purple minion damage. Well, balls aren't minions. Let's get the 2 strength. We haven't gotten a lot of strength this run. We've only just hit 5. More health, less speed. We're already pretty fast, up to 50. We'll be a bit more healthy. The unique amount is definitely something we want. And the +4 armor and +2 strength, those are both really good for us. And I'm addicted to XP, what can I say? So if we buy the +4 and find the +2, we'll have 12 total amount. Will give us 3 spike balls, and it'll actually give us 4 skull balls. But that's if they stay in the build. Wave 9 is usually a great wave, because there's so many enemies spawning, and it looks like we can one-shot them finally. So this should be a fantastic wave, with a big shop afterwards. And we're set up for about 300 souls at the moment. And even Leroy Jenkins, I think we one-shot him as well. He usually has a ton of health. But we have some decent damage at the moment, just from the scaling. If we can get some more strength. We have an okay amount of health, 30, but we can't really heal in a timely manner. We don't have regen or lifesteal. Let's get a bit more life. Let's get the blue amount, nice, +2, and the blue strength, +4. So let's get the amount above 6, and then take it back down. But now we can have 7 weapons, and we just need 1 amount from a level up to get back to 6 pretty easily. So let's get the XP because I have an addiction, and unique gives us more soul chance. Got a white spike and a white skull. So we can buy and merge, and buy the skull as well. So let's roll. Slower enemies in a smaller room. Yes, please. I'm very sad that's a unique though. I would hope that could be a limited, and you could buy 2 or 4 of them, and that would be amazing. Because of our speed and our size, the room is already pretty small. But with a smaller room, that would mean more bounces, more collisions, and more travel distance for the kick. So it makes each kick better. So from what I've seen so far, I think the item that's missing is maybe kick strength. That would scale off of strength, or speed, or just its own stat. So if I can't make the room any smaller than just 8% one time, a kick strength, which would make the one kick travel back and forth 3 to 4 times, would be very fun. And that could be an alternative to a mount. So we've been taking some big hits. We took a 10 there. We should have close to 30% armor if not more. Now we're down to 1 HP. And at any moment we could die. But we barely beat that wave. Let's take the green damage percentage. As you can see, the dex gives you +1, whereas a white strength would actually give you 2. So strength can scale a lot faster. We got a green ball, and we made the room smaller. More damage, less health. That's not necessarily going to keep us alive though. And just the white spike ball is up to 61 damage. The green's at 74, the blue is at 85. We do have close to 60% more damage though. Got another green ball. So now we have 3 blue balls. And I have to buy the XP. And I'm thinking about the armor. But that's also another reroll, so I think we only made it down to 2 HP, not 1. So let's lock the skull. Get a purple next time. And now we have a 20% chance to attract these souls as well. But we are pretty fast. So I think we just have to do a better job. And we instantly failed, but of avoiding the enemies. And not just tunnel and run towards the balls, like I've been doing. See a ball, run towards the ball. What else matters? I might have to admit that the size of our balls could become an issue as well. Because when they're so big, we can't see things. And then we just run towards all the danger as well. But that's definitely a me problem. And if we can get some more HP, and maybe a bit more HP regen, because I think we only have 2, or even lifesteal, since we do hit quite often, then we can play a bit more safe, and not fear the Reaper. Cheaper items for size, so that makes everything 12% cheaper, 6 more HP, 6% more damage, and a purple amount, wow. That pushes us past the 6 that we needed. And now we don't need the limited +2, but it may help us get to 12 amount. That would be our next goal. But to get to 12, we definitely need some more level up amounts. And I think in some of our previous runs, we unlocked an item that's not unique or limited that gives amount. Armor and strength, that's probably the best item we could find. +4 armor, +2 damage. It'll keep us alive, and it gives us a bunch of damage. The white spiked is already up to 66 damage. And it's supposed to have a base of 20, so our scaling is kind of insane. And look at our balls now. They are just covering the screen. We got an extra, I think, 2 skulls, and an extra spiked for each spiked we have. So now we have a 3 times on these spikes, and a 4 times on these skulls. So our damage definitely went up, probably by 30%. And it should keep us safer. And I actually kind of like these skulls. They fit a nice little niche between all the spikes. And it always gives us something to kick. But I felt a lot safer in this wave. Either because the density was just bad, or because we had so many balls. But I actually think I could scale damage now to protect us. Unlike before, where I was doing it just because I was greedy. But now I think it might actually work. Potions give us a damage buff. HP for cooldown, which doesn't matter. Regen or lifesteal, these are both good. But I think I like regen better. It just feels very consistent. 6 HP, 3 HP. 4 HP, just a bunch of HP. We're now up to 53 HP, and we started this shop at 37. So we've got another spike ball. Let's make these skulls into purples. They do 96 damage, and there's 4 of them, and we got 124 size. So the spiked armor was the item I was talking about. Currently we have 96 damage on our blue, get 10% damage, and it goes up to 101. And that's a non-limited item, so we can buy that over and over if we're lucky enough. So we've got 4 strong purple skulls, which do the damage of a blue spiked, and the rest we have is just a wall of spikes. But we're slowly leveling up the spikes to purples. They do around 100 damage, which is pretty good. The flower power could create an issue for us though, because our main goal is to just dash around as fast as we can, and he definitely blocks off certain sections. Makes it so we have to backtrack. Makes it so that the weapons leave us, and we're kind of vulnerable. But the regen is pretty nice now. It's at least going up. And having a ton more HP is much, much safer. So we're only going to have about 200 souls this time. I'm sort of missing our last run, where we were getting 800, 1,000, 1,200 souls just in one wave. We were super rich. Now these stats are all pretty bad. So let's just roll. And we got a green amount, which is as good as a white amount actually. Let's get the 2 HP. And the 3 HP. The armor and strength. And the attraction chance. Merge our whites into a green. And let's go on. get back to kicking our balls, because they're not going to kick themselves. But for those who are wondering, the item I mentioned, where kicks can kick themselves, apparently you have to play Mom on difficulty 5 to unlock it. Mom was our very first run, and we've only just unlocked difficulty 4, so we'll have to try that again some other time. So we're getting no help. Yeah, that just means we're going to have to kick our own balls for the rest of this run. And I've gotten pretty good at it so far, if I do say so myself. But the next wave, we'll be fighting the boss, and we'll see how our damage does against that. Because we cover a big area, we do pretty good damage. But I'm still not quite sure we have enough single target damage. Or we'd spend a lot of time chasing our balls around. But we'll just have to see how it goes. So let's get the +2 strength. Another attack slot. That is pretty good. It's going to lower our damage down from 64 to 52. But we get a whole extra slot, which we can throw a green spike ball into. And we can lock the white spiked for next time. So we're fighting the stack noob again. Last time we fought them, we couldn't actually kill them. So hopefully we have enough damage this time, even though it's a higher difficulty. It's incredibly hard, now that we have even more balls, to see the enemies underneath them. So we're doing decent damage. The balls just go wherever they want though. They are half dead, so we're on track to killing them. Got a big pile over here in the corner. Some good damage there. Seems better to walk around to the corners rather than do little circles and try to reuse the same balls over and over. So we did kill the boss, and the damage we've taken, we've regened. So we're pretty strong, and we can still get stronger. Let's get the +3 strength. It's gonna push us up to 20. By the white spikes, so now we got a green. Even more HP. And more damage with the link attacks. I'm not sure what that even means. I'm not sure what a link attack is. Let's get the more HP regen though. We don't really crit anyways. And the double face mask is actually pretty good. When we go right, we're faster. When we go left, we dodge. And we're running around the entire map all the time anyways. We have 110 on the skull, and 116 damage on these spike balls. The main difference being the 10% spike damage that we got the singular time. So I'd really like to find more of those. Especially since we have so many spike balls. Up to 61 HP. And our regen is quite a bit faster. You can actually notice it going up. We're not just waiting around to heal. So I feel much safer. Even if we get a big hit, take some damage. I don't see us dropping down to 1 HP again. We can just go back to playing our own little soccer game. Kicking as many balls as we can. Playing on difficulty does sort of force you into a certain builds though. Because I tried the skull a number of times, and I kept dying around wave 10 or 12 because we didn't have the clear that we have here. We got another spiked ball, and we can create our very first purple. 133 damage, 35 base, 180% scaling. That is very nice. We got a purple spike, let's lock it down, and make it a little bit cheaper. And I think we'll just save our money for the next one. So we're on to wave 17 of 20. Wave 19 is usually the big cash round. Get you one last shot before the boss. And we have just so many kickables. Just a wall of spikes. But they have their own walls of flowers. Which is really bad for us. Especially with a smaller area. And the fact that we don't actually do any damage unless we kick something. So this round is a bit awkward. Kinda have to dodge and weave. Dodge and weave. Up to 250 souls, probably get to around 300. And even though we're taking some smacks, we are healing pretty good. We've got a purple for our level 20. I very much want the size, but this is our last chance to really get the amount going, if we're going to break them out at 12. And we got it on our first reroll. So now we're at an amount of 10. We still can get the +2 from the limited, and that'll push us over the top. We got another purple ball. We could just throw away our white, but let's combine the greens instead. So now we got 3 blues, 2 purples, and 2 greens. So let's go. And we haven't actually increased our size for a long time, but our balls are still looking pretty big. They also do a bit more than 100 damage. They kind of cover the entire field. And we can't see much other than when they're flying towards the enemies, because they take up so much space. But there's definitely some toads, some sorks. The charging guy down there, he used to do 10 damage to us. But I really thought we'd be tankier this run, from the 20% armor buff that we get for free. But we were getting decimated early on, taking a ton of damage. Right up till we got a mount to 6, and we started really buffing our damage with strength. But we got a couple more waves, and we got around 320 souls this time. So we got a white strength, but I'd rather have an amount, preferably a blue amount. But there is a purple strength and a basic amount. I gotta take the 5 strength, because if we're lucky enough, we can get the +2 amount just in the shop here. We just never have quite enough souls to roll in here, because we're not making very many souls. But let's go on to wave 19. We should get some cash in this one, and hopefully get enough to find the item we want. But currently we have lots and lots of balls. I think we have a total of 25. 3 each for our 7 spikes, and 4 for these skulls. So if we get 2 more amount, we'll get 8 more total balls, and that'll push us to 33 balls. But I'm not sure we really need that, at least to win. But I would like to see that, so that I can win on the inside too, you know? But we'll take what we can get. We've already blasted past how much souls we got last time, which is about 320, 350, and we're nearing 500. I do wish all the waves could be like this, because even without soul gain, or a lot of ways to generate income, we're getting at least 600 souls, which is more than double what we usually get, close to 700. So I'd really like to get a mount here, but it has to be blue and above. I'll also take a purple if it's good for us. But we had 1, maybe 2 levels here. We found a basic amount, and we did have 2 levels. So I think I'm going to commit to the rolling, because now we just need any amount. White, green, blue, or purple. But the rerolls are getting spendy, and this is our last chance. It's do or die. And we didn't get it, that is so sad. What would be even sadder is if the item we wanted was here in the shop when we couldn't buy it. But our spiked balls are up to 150 damage. We are facing the Nightmare, and he charges and leaves little bombs behind. And the kicks go towards the closest enemy. But if he's surrounded by balls when we kick them, they'll go straight into his face. So we're doing pretty good damage-wise. He's at a quarter, and we have lots of time. But more and more units are spawning now, distracting our balls, making them go off in some wild directions. We haven't even hit the boss for a while. Ooh, we got some good damage there. He's probably at 10% now. And we got ourselves a showdown. Because now we got 10 HP. And are we going to kill him? Or are they going to kill us first? But he's very similar to us where he charges at us. Ooh, he only needs like 2 hits. He is so close. He's got 1 hit. No, we didn't get him. Come on, man. Can't believe our balls let us down in the end. But it is what it is. The purples do 150 damage, times 3 amount. And the skulls is only 124, but a times 5 amount. This is the item I thought I'd already unlocked. It's blue, it's not limited, it's not unique, but it gives you +2 amount, which would have been perfect for us. We also got the cheater, so you can find and equip an unlimited amount of unique or limited items, which also would have broken our amount. So we could have used both of these items in this specific run. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.